Alright guys, well today we're going to build a perfect survival rifle, and what I'm going to start with is the M1A from Springfield. This is the M1 carbine BB air rifle. No, this is not what we're starting with. I would show you this old classic gal. Removable magazine. Probably part of the ban coming up. Haven't refinished it. Sand down the finish, kind of like the worn look. And of course, fires out with a spring. The action here opens the BB. And certainly BB guns are a decent survival rifle. A lot of you guys in the UK are very much limited, depending on where in the UK you live. You know, air rifles, the Gamos shoot 1,200 feet per second. They're quieter. That's okay, but you know, here we have a lot more options. You know, the last couple of years, these single break 12 gauges have gotten a lot of attention. Namely, I believe, partly responsible is David Canterbury. Dave over there has gone through an extensive reasoning and videos trying to detail his reasoning for picking the single break 12 gauge shotgun. All of those hold true. I don't argue with any of those. You got like the gun websites who at the range, you know, hacked up his to make it a little bit more a quicker access, a shorter, more tactical gun. And you've got the Haas, who he really went with a survival rifle mode. He's got 410 shotgun shells in the handguard. He's got paracord. There's an Altoids tin. There is storage ability in the buttstock. My main reasoning for build this, I don't deny that the single break 12 gauge is fantastic. I want to make it a better shooter. I want to make it easier to shoot and a little bit more versatile. It will shoot, obviously, the low brass, sort of cheap birdshot game loads. It doesn't always like to eject them, so we're going to work on that. Just due to the low brass, I think, and the fact that they're cheaply made. But when you get into the personal defense and you get these higher buckshot loads with the higher brass and a little bit more oomph behind them, especially when you get into these big old guys, a 3-inch double buck, these are not enjoyable to shoot many out of this if you're going to use it as a tactical, sort of rifle. If you're just out putting around and you're just trying to get a little bit of food, that's one thing. If you have to depend on this, it's another. We're going to be putting it through its paces because there has been reports, this is an H&R, of even the newer ones that have failed through repetition. A lot of the guys that get out there and shoot a lot of skeet and things and clays are having issues. So we're definitely going to shoot this quite a bit to find out if this particular version at, I think it was like $105 or something I bought it at. And this is new, by the way. We got this for this specific purpose. This is absolutely new. Nothing's been done to this, so we're kind of starting out. Following on Dave Canterbury's philosophy, we have got some short lane gun adapters. We do have the 410 and 45 long Colt. I have 9mm rifled and 22 rifled. Now, getting these, they do make them in a longer version, and some of them, like the 9 and 22 that Dave specifically has for the Pathfinders. I like the 3-inch. As I mentioned, as you can see, this very hard buttstock here at the end, but the access hole for the bolt for the buttstock allows me to store all 3 of those adapters in there. That's one thing. I don't know if we're going to keep that because, like I said, I want to make sure this is, easily a much better shooter than it currently is. I have purchased a box of Magtech's brass shotgun shells. These currently have the pistol primers in them. We'll be drilling out at least a few of those to try and run the 109 shotgun primers. Excuse me. Got a book on specifically just reloading shotguns. So, for all intents and purposes, our ammo is going to vary quite a bit. So, really what I want is when you're shooting that 22 at long distance, there aren't any true sights on there. I mean, in the standard shotgun fashion, you've got a tiny little brass bead here at the end. There's no rear sight picture other than when the hammer is pulled back. That allows you to actually see the end, if you will. I don't know if this will all fit on here. But that's it. That's your sight picture. There's nothing back here. There's no rear sight. You're just lining up as best as you can down that barrel with the hammer out of the way to that little brass bead. And that is it. So that's going to be our project, is to improve the shootability and accuracy on this guy. And so one of the things we're going to do, I've already discussed all the adapters and everything else to make it a more versatile gun. What I'm going to do is get some ATI stuff. I'm going to get the ATI collapsible stock and the ATI ghost ring sights for the 12 gauge, and then we're going to go from there. Got the next step completed. This is the Made in the USA ATI collapsible stock, designed for the H&R, and I believe the NEFs as well, which is the New England Firearms, very similar to the H&Rs. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this polymer foregrip. As you can see, it's got kind of a larger space around the top of the barrel. It does include a swivel stud on there, and then sort of standard AR-15-ish. I've got some tape on there just to kind of give you an idea. Zoom out as far as I can there. Of what 18.5 inches would look like. And that is, you know, obviously I can't quite get it all on here. I have not decided to cut down the barrel enough yet. I'm going to see where the, I have an ATI ghost ring set up for better sights on here, and we'll see where those end up before we cut the barrel. But like I said, we're just trying to make this a better shooter. Give you an idea here. We'll set that on top, roughly about the same section where it would be attached. Here's the collapsed and the extended. Oops, that's not quite fair. When extended, it's almost identical. In fact, the butt plates almost line up right there. So if I raise that up and collapse it, you can see I've gained quite a bit without having to chop down this thing. 1 pound, 4 1/8 ounces. 14 ounces. Also, I'll put in a quick clip here of just the weight that I saved. The forearms were about the same, and I'm still not sure. I like the extra length of the forearms. As you can see, the standard forearm is a little bit longer and a little bit thinner this way. So I'm still not sure. I know a lot of guys decide to keep this because they said the ATI, it was a bad fit. I thought it fit very snug. You don't have to wear in the action. It's a little bit more resistance to close and open it, but that will wear in with time. This guy is a little more comfortable in the hands, and it is wood, so may or may not keep that. I have not tried to see if an AR type grip will fit on there. There is simply a Phillips screw down below. I have, however, taken off the AR stock, and they do fit. They're identical. A little bit slightly different molding. The ATI has some extra holes. We'll be putting the Scorpion buttstock on here, but very similar, and this one in fact will fit the tube. I'm going to give you guys a look. So with buttstocks on buttstocks here, the H&R, if you'll stay, is very, very close to where the barrel is going to be at the end. So overall, this H&R will have the same size and length of pull as an AR. And the breakdown should be very similar to fit in a bug out bag or whatever you're using it for.